kind of wanted to give you just my point of view from owning a Cobra. This is my buddy's 2014 GT500. So I kind of wanted to give you guys a comparison, just my opinion, kind of the differences in my opinions between the Cobra and this car. So we'll talk about like power, interior, just that kind of stuff. So kind of like a little mini review on the 500 as well. So first thing that you definitely notice is this thing has a ton of power. From the factory, it comes with 662 horsepower, which compared to my Cobra is modified and I'm at 445 horse. So this is substantially faster. I know you can make Cobras pretty fast, but if you're talking stock for stock, obviously this is just so much more power. But as far as interior wise, this is a lot nicer. All of the material in here is like a rubbery, almost like a rubber style. All the touch points. I mean, obviously you have some plastic in the interior here, but no rattles or anything like that. Where the Cobra, like all the plastics, very thin plastics, things like that. So this is like just a lot higher quality interior than the Cobra is. The design's very nice. I mean, it's got that similar, the two cowls, you know, in the interior. But yeah, it's got so much power. But so as far as like interior wise, the steering wheel, pretty much everything's nicer than the Cobra. You know, it's early 2000s Fords weren't known for their interior quality, so that's just kind of to be expected. The gauges on the 500 are very nice. I really like them. They're big. You can see them. You got the track apps. There's a lot more technology, obviously, in something like this. It's got navigation. So, but as far as like driving, how it feels compared to the Cobra, this drives a lot smoother. Where the Cobra, you feel every single bump and everything like that. But yeah. But so as far as the shifter's got a very similar feel to it. The 500 is definitely a lot stiffer feeling. It's more notchy. The gears are all closer together in the gates here. So, but it's got a similar feel. It goes right in. This does have an MGW short throw shifter in it, so that helps a lot. My buddy who owns this car, he was having troubles at the track getting in and from first to second, or even on the street going from, you know, full throttle first into second. It just would not go in. So he switched to this MGW shifter, and he's able to, no problem, get it into gear. So that's because the stock linkage for the transmission is it's kind of weak. It's got flimsy bushings on it. The MGW, if you look at what the MGW looks like compared to stock, you can see it's just a lot more heavy duty looking, and I really like it. The throws are nice and short, which they were short from the factory, but this really makes it nice and short and stiff. There's no wobbling around in gear at all. So I definitely like that a lot, and this reminds me of the Cobra. You feel it vibrating, kind of like the Cobra. You feel real connected, versus a lot of the newer cars, the transmissions, you don't have any vibration. You know, it's very refined, you know, compared to the older cars. And I like this, having the MGW, it makes it feel, you feel the car more, which I like. So that's another thing to think about too, is this car has a better chassis. It's, you know, just a lot newer. The Cobra basically's got a Fox body chassis. It's obviously improved, but it's the same. It's pretty much the same. So this chassis is a lot better. And even though this has the live axle, this rides smoother than the Cobra with the IRS in it. And I got the IRS, my Cobra's got the full tilt Boogie Racing bushing, so it's about as smooth as an IRS can be. And this just rides just a lot nicer. This is definitely a car you could drive every single day. It really doesn't take a whole lot of effort. That's the other thing. I would definitely not sell my Cobra for one of these because they're very different, the way they drive. So the Cobra, you feel everything. It's a very like visceral experience where you have the loud supercharger whine. The car kind of beats you up a little bit. It's very loud. Where this is more tame, more refined. So tame and refined until, you know, you open it up and this thing's absolutely a monster. But yeah, so that's just kind of a difference I noticed. The Cobra's definitely more raw, which I like. You know, I like both. This is nice. I mean, you could drive this every day. Doesn't take a lot of effort. And yeah. So as far as the solid axle's concerned, you know, I haven't been doing any cornering or anything, so maybe I would notice it then. But driving around town, I really don't notice the difference between having an IRS and a solid axle. So, but maybe around corners and stuff like that, if you hit a bump and stuff like that. But I haven't noticed that yet anyway. So basically, on paper, this car is way better than a Cobra. You know, better brakes, more power. I would say I kind of like this transmission a little better. It's a little tighter feeling than mine is. Shorter. It is interesting, the position of this. With the Cobra, you are reached a little forward. I got long arms, so it really doesn't bother me. But maybe for some people, you do got to reach a little more. It is kind of interesting getting used to the shifter being like right here. But it's nice. I mean, I could see you could shift very fast in this. But so as far as like the size difference, you definitely feel a little bit bigger in this car. The interior is not a very big interior, the way they designed it. It is definitely a bigger car, but it doesn't feel like, I don't hop into this thinking, oh, this is like a massive car, where I've gotten the GT350 and that feels like a really big car, which I like the smaller feel of a car, a little bit smaller, I like that. So yeah, that's something to consider as well. It's a little bigger, and obviously outside's a little bigger, but it's got a good sound to it. If it was my car, I would definitely do a nice exhaust on it. You know, maybe like a catback or high flow X pipe for sure, to get a little bit more tone out of this. It sounds good for stock mufflers, but yeah, that's the other thing too. As far as stock wise, the supercharger whine is very muffled, which with the Cobra, it's the complete opposite, where you really hear it. So that is kind of a downside to me anyway. I really like that loud supercharger whine. You could fix that with a pulley and stuff like that. But yeah, I also think they put way too tiny of tires on this car from the factory. So if you have this car, I would definitely put some bigger tires on the back. You know, 285 I don't think is even close to being enough tire for back there. I mean, I'm at 445 in the Cobra, and I put on 315 Toyo R888s, and I can dead hook in first. So that's the other thing too, is I can use a lot more of the Cobra's power at that power level on the street and not be crazy over the speed limit, which is nice. So that is one thing that is nice, is this car, at least for me, you really can't use a lot of it on the street. At the track, I'm sure it's an absolute blast, but we'll do a little pull for you guys. But yeah, it is so fast. I just eased into it. I didn't jab it because it probably pulled the tires off, but it is so fast. Rev matching's really easy. This car is a very easy car to drive. Very easy. But overall, I mean, basically this is a brand new Cobra, just with the solid axle, more power. I mean, it's just an updated Cobra. So they're definitely awesome. So if you're crazy and you know, you like the high horsepower and you're starting at 662 from the factory, if you like that, I mean, this is definitely a car for you. But clutch is super easy too. Already speed limit. Alright, so another thing to talk about too, these seats are awesome. So if you're looking for a 500, make sure you option these seats. They're super comfortable and they hold you in really nice. So I would compare these two. So the Fiesta and Focus ST and the Focus RS have those Recaros. Those really grip you in. These are definitely more comfortable, and yet they still grip you in, which is nice. So yeah, but if you're looking for a 500, they started making the Recaros in 2012. So 12, 13, and 14 are the years you could get the Recaros for the 500s. So I would definitely recommend these seats for sure. So this car comes with the 13s and 14s. You can adjust the steering sensitivity. So you have sport, and then you have normal, or it's a standard, and then you have comfort. The comfort's really like, it just kind of changes the ratio, so it makes the sports a little more responsive. And then it also has adjustable shocks. So right now we're in sport mode, and you actually really tell a difference. It's a lot harsher of a ride in sport mode. You push it again, and you go back to normal. So those are just a couple different things you can change. It does have launch control. I haven't tried it. I'm not gonna try it because it's not my car. But you know, it does launch control, which is kind of cool. But you can customize the gauges and everything like that. So it's definitely got a lot more tech in it than obviously the 03 Cobra does. But so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts and opinions on the GT500. Definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Basically, it's just a newer Cobra, but like I said before, I wouldn't trade my Cobra for one of these. I'd just probably add one to the fleet, you know, to the fleet of cars. So that's kind of my take on it. The Cobra's definitely more raw, visceral. It kind of beats you up. You're kind of exhausted after driving it. It's just a different experience with this. This is fast, yet super refined. Yet it's more raw than I would say a 350 is. The 350 was a really refined car, which is, you know, depending on who you ask, a good or a bad thing. So it's kind of personal preference when it comes to how refined you want a car. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down. Consider subscribing. That helps me out a lot, guys. And I'll see you guys later.